Hey guys, this is Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown City WrestleCast.
Hey, heels and baby faces. Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, joined this week by Tommy.
Nope.
And Mike.
Mike, I love wrestling, and apparently Cesaro does too, and he loves WWE. So what are you going to do? Love always wins.
I really thought you would have said, and just like Mansoor in Saudi Arabia, love always wins.
Well, there was that too.
That was the safest bet we made on that show. Let's just be honest. So.
And just like Mansoor being saved at Crown Jewel, sometimes it's come by someone. It happens with someone you have no idea who they are.
Oh man, these Saudi Arabia shows have been polarizing for so many reasons.
Yeah.
I was actually
main reason, but yes, let's keep going.
Yeah, I actually jumped into B Ninja's Twitch chat later on that later that day when he jumped in, asked if he saw it, and he's like, yeah. All right, I forget where I saw it. He sent me a message back and forth one way or another, but he was like, yeah, I don't like the politics, but I mean, it was a good show, and it really was. It's going to be interesting to talk this week about wrestling, recapping Crown Jewel, recapping Bound for Glory. It broke the internet the way it ended, but it had the fan base pretty split. So I will say that.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And talk a little bit of wrestling news. There's a lot that's come out, especially on the WWE side, that we'll be discussing. And 150, PWI is up in the game for the women. So
I think you're talking about 5150, and I'm like,
no.
What?
Excuse me. So as we get through this, if you're watching us live, we do appreciate it. Feel free to comment. Let us know your thoughts on the shows. As we move along, we'll give our WrestleCast ratings as well. And let us know what your thoughts are on the other topics as well. If I'm a little distracted, it's because it's Game 1 of the World Series, and I apologize. I have it on the TV here, but I'm going to be paying attention here. Don't worry.
Not going well so far, but there's time.
There's time, and good old Spanish commentary. It hasn't failed me yet this season, so that's what I'm going with right now. So. All right, let's jump right into it, and let's start with Crown Jewel. And I know a lot of us, when we watched it, we expected this to just be like every other Saudi Arabia show, pretty okay. The typical booking, we talked about that on the show last week, like what are they going to do here or whatever. And wow, this was impressive. And Mike, you said it too after I mentioned how great it was. They can do shows like this with the talent they have.
Yeah, that's what really upsets me.
Yeah,
is we've seen their previous Saudi Arabia shows, and they were whack, and they were dumb, and they made dumb decisions.
Horribly booked.
Yeah.
Yes, and now that they're totally not paying attention to what AEW is doing, putting SmackDown on a Saturday night for no reason, now they decide, oh, hey, look at this. We could pull a WrestleMania-style show out of our butts anytime we want. So it's really frustrating to know that they only care now because they're being challenged, even though they won't admit it. So
they're not paying attention. So they can't be challenged if they're not paying attention to the challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
You said the key word there, WrestleMania level. Was this?
Oh, I thought you meant butt.
No. Yeah, that too. No, but do you consider this on the level of a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam? One of their big events, because this had it, Go ahead.
No, I don't consider blood money, but I mean the card that they put together was something that you could see at a WrestleMania or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the point of a pay-per-view. But why this pay-per-view feels like the only one we've got so far that was this well put together is the problem. It's like that's what you want people to pay the extra money to watch it for, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. AEW's pay-per-views, they may cost a bit, they have to, I feel like you get your money's worth when you pay for it. You know, I feel like even if you don't necessarily like how everything goes, there's enough on the show to justify it. You know, because let's say you're not a Kenny Omega fan, that's fine. But the effort Christian will put in a match with him, or like the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers did in the cage match, that's worth the $50 right there. With pay-per-views, it's really hit or miss. Even with their big four, you can almost like big five because we include Money in the Bank now. But you can almost be like, yeah, maybe. You for those you almost have to wait for the reviews, you know, and then like, okay, now I'll watch it.
There it goes.
I think we're moving again.
Okay. Give it a few minutes to make sure it's going here. I hate that this happens, but
It's okay.
yeah.
I think it's trying to sync back up. It froze. There it goes.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that, everybody.
It's like, you're the reason there's 3 bodies down here. What do you want me to do about it? But anyways, that was the 3rd time I went to the IRS, so what are you going to do?
That was my third time, man. Let me tell you.
All right.
The number of bodies in that trunk. Wow.
All right. Let's get back into Crown Jewel here. The show itself, I think what stood out to me the most was the crowd had a lot to do with how good this was. Now, obviously, the only real, I guess, part-timers we had on the show were Goldberg and Lesnar. And it was interestingly enough, though, is that the Goldberg match was probably the best match he's had in a while that I can recall. You know?
Before we go any further, I'm going to full disclosure. I didn't actually go back and watch the show.
Okay.
I just read the reports because they happen so often. And
Okay.
everything was reported. So I heard it was really good. And
Yeah.
I heard it was fun what he did.
It was, you know, when they changed the match to a falls count anywhere, no holds barred, they did all that stuff, right? And I'm thinking, okay, what can they possibly do? But Goldberg and Lashley were great together, I gotta say. And the match went off well. I can't lie. I mean, I thought Lashley would go over. Maybe a little bit peeved that he didn't, but it made sense. The crowd loved it, you know? I mean, I guess. I mean,
JC, you know what the final main event is going to be at the final Saudi pay-per-view, right?
I don't know what.
Goldberg versus Mansoor. Who's going to win? I think they're both undefeated in Saudi.
I was gonna say, isn't Goldberg undefeated in their Saudi shows?
I think so.
I thought Undertaker got the win over him when they wrestled at one time. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, you know what? Hold on.
Because didn't Goldberg get like concussed early in that, and Taker had to kind of carry him
Yeah,
through the rest
but
of it?
I thought he beat him anyway. That's what I thought.
I don't
Hold on.
remember. I don't think
Didn't
so.
he hit the really whack jackhammer on him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost a brain buster.
We'll have to check that, but yeah.
Yeah.
And even if he did, WWE will just change the record books and edit it so they don't never show that. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's true too.
You mentioned Mansoor. And an interesting tidbit, he wrestled Mustafa Ali, and it was the first time two, I guess, people or characters of Muslim or Muslim.
I think he said they're both Muslim.
They are, and they wrestle each other.
Yeah.
This is like the very first time this has happened in WWE's history,
Right.
on television or otherwise, which is pretty awesome, pretty historic, and a great moment for Saudi Arabia. It was a great match for them to see. They enjoyed it. Even got an Olympic silver medalist to kind of come out and make the save for
Yeah,
Mansoor.
who everybody knew
Yeah,
in the crowd.
if you're from there, right? But even
Right,
better than
yeah.
this, we always joke that Mansoor only appears when they're in Saudi Arabia. Like, you don't see him at all on TV. You don't see him at all for the build-up. All of a sudden, he's like in the Greatest Royal Rumble. He's in just some random match that they put together that day. But they actually built this up, and this is actually a part of his storyline they got going on. They're going to continue with it. So that was...
Yeah, don't look at his win-loss record on Raw.
Yeah.
Don't look at that. Just look at his. Just look at his Saudi Arabia record.
Like, all I'm going to say, if WrestleMania is ever in Saudi Arabia, Mansoor's walking away with the WWE Championship that night. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, he is.
You know?
Yeah, he's absolutely main eventing that show. There's
Yeah.
He's taking out Brock, Goldberg, and Lashley like in a 3-on-1 handicap match, and he's
Yeah.
still winning. So
No, it's going to be a 3-on-1. It's going to be a 3-on-1 elimination match, and he's going to pin each one by one. And he's gonna survive a full Nelson, a spear, a jackhammer, an F5, like 87 German suplexes, and it's still gonna
then tap them all out.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'll do.
With a wrist lock. Tell me it was really just hilarious.
I love it.
Let's see here.
No, I get him.
I'll try and quickly run through these. Edge in the Cell was great. That opened the show. Edge beating Seth Rollins. We kind of said it. Even if Seth lost, it's not really going to hurt him. I feel that he's like the few people that has that.
And sure enough, he's on Raw Monday night. I want a title match.
Yeah.
And getting it. So earning it. But
Man, I can't stand that. But you're right. Oh, by the way, it was Super Showdown, but it wasn't Saudi. Undertaker did beat Goldberg. I was wrong.
Okay.
Sorry.
no, he didn't. WWE said he did not. Undertaker's undead, so that doesn't count. It's only win-losses against human beings.
WWE logic, right? Let's see here.
Fair enough.
RK Bro defends the title successfully, defeats AJ Styles and Osmosis. Riddle coming down on a camel, hilarious. Randy Orton.
I was gonna say that might have been one of the funniest images I've seen in a long time.
Oh my god! And Tina was saying it while we were watching it too. I really think Randy Orton wants to RKO that camel on the way down, and that'd have been hilarious. The royalty of the night: Zelina Vega defeats Doudrop in the only match in the entire tournament to go over 3 minutes. It was 9 seconds shy of 6 minutes to become the win the Queen's Crown tournament. And Xavier Woods defeats Finn Balor. Just short of 10 minutes on that match, by the way, to win the King of the Ring. Now, Zelina, we figure with the character, she's going to go a bit heel with it. Xavier Woods is interesting because he was such a fan favorite. Both, I mean, they love both of these people, Finn and Xavier, to win, potentially. Xavier wins, and his, the King promo, he's talking kind of an Owen Hart vibe, when Owen Hart won the King of the Ring. That's kind of how I felt seeing it. And it really was a stark contrast from where he was like, this is what I dreamed for. This is my destiny. This is what I really want to work for this. I want to get this. And now he's all, all the power, all this and that. So potential heel turn for Xavier Woods? Or is it just a one-night thing?
I hope it's a one-night thing. Okay. Maybe I'm just stuck in the I don't want them to break up the New Day thing, although they're trying their damnedest to do that. I just don't want that to happen. I don't care. I don't care who's sick of it. I'm not. So
he was on SmackDown too for his official coronation, and it was still a little similar too. So I don't think it's going to be a full breakup. Mm-hmm. I think you might see a little bit of Xavier getting a little bit too full of himself, and him and Kofi Kofi kind of having to bring him down, not in actual matches or not a breakup, just kind of, you're getting a little bit overboard there, buddy.
Smack him.
But
yeah, relax.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, Woods is what really struck me is this worked for Woods because we know that it's something he's wanted for a long time, and then on top of that, he really been putting on awesome matches this last year and kind of building up. While I'm super happy for Zelina Vega, up until the tournament, she was losing left and right.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a weird thing for her. I mean, the booking for the women has been so atrocious the last several months anyways, but...
Just so sad. They were doing so well, actually, in that regard. They were doing so well.
Yeah. And so I'm I'm not angry she won it. I think she'll do great with the character. It was really more that they were doing nothing to her when she came back, except she was losing over and over and over. And then she hits the tournament and, like a team in the playoffs at the right time, just gets all the wins. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It was weird.
What else was I going to say on here? Big E retains. Nothing too eventful. It was a standard good title defense match.
No, but he's building some solid wins against legitimate opponents. I think
yeah.
that's good for him.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that's just the thing. I think that's just the thing at this point. It's like when Kofi had the belt. I mean, I knew he wouldn't have it too long. Although I was hoping for in my brain, let him have it for a year. Who cares? But I knew it was never going to happen. It's like let him get some legit title defenses under his belt. And I'm glad we're going to do it with Becky too.
I was hoping Kofi's when he lost it would have lasted longer than a Queen of the Ring Queen Crown tournament match, but couldn't even get that.
Nope.
Yeah. Ironically, I'd rather him wrestle this Brock Lesnar we have now than that Brock Lesnar we had when he lost the belt to him.
Women's triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship was hands down amazing. Great match. Crowd was into it. Surprisingly, Becky retained, but as we found out on SmackDown, yes, everybody made it back in time. By the way, that something else happened, and we'll get to that too. But she got the win. Otherwise, great match, full of drama too. What's up?
There was a tweet someone put out, I think it was Sean Ross.
Oh, no.
I think he said, by the way, everyone got on their plane and took off safely. And I said, how sad is it that that's actually newsworthy?
Yeah.
I was like, I was of two minds. I was like, A, that's funny. B, it's so sad that I actually was hoping that would be the case.
And then, of course...
I legitimately was worried.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were wondering, just especially because of what happened last time, and who knows, right? But this, it was making history here. There were two women's matches on that night, and then you had a female referee for most of the night too. First time that happens as well. So, and of course the main event: Roman Reigns defeating Brock Lesnar by pinfall. Paul Heyman, the whole will he, won't he, whose side is he on? All they did was throw the belt right in the middle, and then they got to figure that out for themselves. So
somebody said Paul Heyman looks like the ex he's still in love with shows up whenever so they're talking about him and Brock Lesnar when he's with Roman. I was like, first of all, the internet is undefeated. Secondly, I can see that.
Yep.
Definitely. He looked so conflicted, but I think he was really concentrating on making sure I toss this right in the middle so it doesn't look one way or another, because the internet would eat that up, right?
Yeah.
But
no, he ran ECW. They still haven't let him off the hook.
So the most surprising about this, when you consider how the rest of the weekend went, there were no title changes at all on Crown Jewel. None.
In retrospect, that's hilarious.
But honestly, I think this is easy to say. Was this the best of the Saudi Arabia shows? I know Mike didn't see it. But
yes, I mean the bar wasn't too hard to begin with, but the matches all seemed to deliver. And again, anytime they want.
As how the workers, everybody in the talent worked in the ring, it really felt like they were feeding off having a crowd of that magnitude and that energy. Yeah. It was definitely like a WrestleMania feel for them, or the first SmackDown and Raw back with the crowd. This kind of had that feel. For Saudi Arabia, obviously it's been a couple years since they've had a show there, when everything shut down, and I don't even know how much of live entertainment or sporting events or stuff, or what's going on over there with COVID protocols. But for them to have wrestling back and seeing it live was great, and they brought it. The crowds have been nothing short of great since they've gone to Saudi Arabia. It was pretty damn cool.
I feel like here's my biggest problem with WWE, and I feel like this show kind of revealed it to me. I didn't think I really realized it till the show. Mm-hmm. It's more than just the bad stories that WWE has going right now. It's the fact that the matches are subpar with people we know can put on good matches. I sent out a comment for an AEW match recently. I can't remember. I was trying to find it real quick. I can't remember which match it was. I said, "Is AEW going to give us at least one pay-per-view quality match every week? Because I'm okay with that." And it's like WWE could easily do that several times over. Now, I missed NXT tonight, and we all have mixed feelings about what direction NXT is going. And it's not that, but I'm like, you can do that on Raw and SmackDown. I mean, you can have a lot of storylines built up and stuff, but you can have one or two matches that just shut down the show. and I feel like AEW does that. They have a lot of their stories going in, and that's fine. It's wrestling. That's what wrestling does. But you can have one or two matches that are just great top, beginning to end, bell to bell. And I feel like WWE doesn't even have that. Their Raw and SmackDown shows are purely to do storylines, not have great matches, which would be fine if the pay-per-views always had the payoff. They don't. And that's kind of depressing. It's like I said, maybe not every AEW match is a 5-star. I agree with that 100% because it's pro wrestling. That's just gonna happen. But you can see the effort of everyone on every single card trying to steal the show from Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks because that's what they're trying to do. And WWE has that talent. It's not that they can't. It's not that they can't wrestle. Clearly they can. They're in WWE, but they don't. Is the problem, I think.
Yeah. One of the little things, and I saw this Monday from Raw, and it just kind of like WWE cares about certain things, not others. Liv Morgan and Carmella both got drafted from SmackDown to Raw and wrestled each other again. Like, they wrestled each other 4 or 5 times over the past 2 months on SmackDown. You figure the draft is a time to move them around, get new things going, and they wrestle each other again. And, by the way, Liv loses again.
Yeah.
So, whatever Liv pushed, I thought there was coming, silly me. She's going to become the Cesaro of the women's division.
And I think they did that with Nakamura and Baron Corbin, because didn't they wrestle again? Someone said they had like their 7th match since May with each other.
Yeah, I think you're right on that too.
Oh, and I found the match. It was Pac and Andrade for their second match, and that's what I was saying is like just because that one was great bell to bell too. And
I was like, wait, what? Okay.
In AEW, I'm sorry, but to me, okay, and I feel like I have to say this because of how I am with these two, but I always make the contrast because people say, well, they wrestle the love, but I'm a fan of every single Okada and Tanahashi match. The difference is you get at least 6 months in between every time that happens. So it's like the one time, the few times that they faced each other right next to each other was right when Okada was hot, like at his peak heat at the beginning of his title run, and they were trading the belt back and forth. But even then, it wasn't every other week. At the most, at least there was a month in between each match. So.
Yeah. All right. So how do we do picking this show? I went 4-5. Tina 6-3. Tommy 7-2, and Mike 8-1.
It's almost like WWE booking is too obvious.
But if you had 9-0 to Saudi Arabia show, would you have been that proud of it?
No.
I mean,
I would have donated my winnings to a charity.
The depression in his voice broke my heart a little bit.
Trying to look back, I don't know if we've ever gone something in 0 on a Saudi Arabia show. I don't think so.
I don't think we have.
Well, no, because those would normally been so. No way they'll do. Oh, they did that.
Oh, they did it. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what they never do? Oh, they did that. Never mind.
Well, let's see how well we rate it then. Time for the WrestleCast ratings here on Crown Jewel. 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember. Since I had the worst on the picks, I'll go first here, and I'm actually giving this a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I thought the crowd was a big part of it. The matches were entertaining. They made sense. It wasn't like anything was just out of nowhere. The stories were told. Like, this was a really good show. Obviously, I think some of the tournament matches could have been a little bit longer. I know the finals, like, this is a tournament final, like, do something with it. And it just seems like a bit slow, but anticlimactic on that. But 4.5 for me. Tommy, what's your rating on this?
I'll give it a 4.25. I think part of my mindset won't ignore the fact that it's still a Saudi Arabia show.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because it's not the fans' fault. The fans that were there, you're right, had a great time. It's not I think to me, it's clearly that the money going in is the problem. If they were doing this with nowhere near the amount they were getting clearly paid, I would feel less guilty about it. But it's good for the fans. It's good for you know what? This is important. I'm going to say this. It's good for the young girls who are there or who watch this.
Yes.
See that in their country. I mean, it's good for the people who have a guy like Mansoor. For as much jokes as we crack, and they're just jokes. it's good to see them see one of their countrymen go in and, if he dominates every show, whatever. Whenever Shawn Michaels came to San Antonio, we wanted him to win. That's just a hometown thing, so I get that. But I just feel like if it wasn't for the purely money aspect that goes to Vince directly, obviously, then I would feel better about it. But that being said, it was easily the best show they have done there, bar none. But 4.25, it was definitely one of their best shows, especially of this year, which is also kind of depressing in its own way. But that's another conversation for another day.
And Mike, what's your rating for this?
I give the wrestlers and the fans a 4.5. I give the WWE a 3. So I don't know how you want to average that. That's up to you.
So 3.75? Yeah, I guess.
I think that's about 3.75. Yeah.
My wife would be so proud of me. I got that right. So, yeah. Why is it? Just because it's W's booking? Like, what is it? So,
for all the things we just spent 20 minutes talking about. The fact that WWE can do this anytime they want.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they did it because it's the big money Saudi Arabia show, which, like we've talked about, there's always... Now, again, I give 4.5 to the fans and the wrestlers because of what I saw parts of it. The fans obviously were hyped. And again, like we said, that's great for them because they may not get the chance to see this all the time. I always give props to the wrestlers because a lot of what wrestling in the WWE seems to be is making chicken salad out of the chicken booking that you're given, and they usually more often than not rise and make good matches out of things. So
big facts. I
always give props to them. Mm-hmm. But it's really hard to just get behind the WWE as a business entity. And look, I get it. Businesses are trying to make money, yada yada yada, but I don't know. It's hard for me to feel positive about WWE itself.
Yeah, it's amazing how people I have who feel the same way. It's like I know guys who have just absolutely sworn them off. They just do not watch WWE anymore. It's like they'll watch literally everything else. They'll watch AEW. They'll watch New Japan. They'll watch Ring of Honor, Impact, but they will not watch WWE anymore. They've just hit that point. They've just had it.
Yeah, and it is what it is. It's a matter of their opinion here. Yeah. Overall rating 4.17 for Crown Jewel. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad for a Saudi show. We have definitely gone way lower.
Little bit of breaking news, by the way. Greg Hamilton has been released by the WWE.
Okay.
Kind of out of nowhere. The longtime ring announcer for SmackDown, of course, he was previously a ring announcer for NXT, hired in 2015. I guess they released him earlier this week, and the news is just making the rounds now. So this Friday on SmackDown, we're going to see a new ring announcer. So,
that's
Staple,
not weird at all.
He received a lot of attention from Shane McMahon for how he announced him as the best in the world. Remember that? So, yeah. So, another one of those budget cuts, or who knows? But that's just kind of out of nowhere. And wow, and Imperium is the new NXT Tag Team Champions, beating MSK on Halloween Havoc.
It's just the week of title changes.
I know.
It's the season premiere for Raw and SmackDown, so they're starting over again.
Shout out Tina for sending me some of the breaking news here. That's yeah, crazy.
On the news desk.
Yes. All right. Well, let's move to a pay-per-view show in a little more of the traditional sense here, because you actually did have to legit pay a pay-per-view amount for it, but definitely worth it. Impact, Bound for Glory. Biggest show of the year for Impact, and really the last of the AEW Impact crossover. This was kind of closing all that out. This is where it ends for now. Obviously, we hope to see something down the future between these two companies and New Japan as well. I mean, the door's open. Maybe it's closed, a little bit closed for now, but it can't come back open, And
the Good Brothers are still kind of back and forth, so
That's true, because
Well,
They
let's see the
officially
next couple weeks on AEW.
Yeah, they're
They may
officially
not
signed
be.
to Impact. That's
that's
true.
true. That's true.
Yeah. So, now Bound for Glory, man, oh man, what a show! The pre-show itself did have a title match to determine the first champion of something, which means Vacant was technically not defending this because they had not crowned a champion yet.
And I'm sorry, but that's just not fair. Why is Vacant never involved in these matches? What the? Okay, you know
He
what?
just
Especially
said
the exhibition
this
title.
is not what he should have been.
He's technically got it. He would confirm this on his Twitter account that he does not hold that title because it hasn't been awarded yet. So, but
Fair enough.
Jordan Grace becomes the first Impact Digital Media Championship, which also means she's the first knockout to complete a Grand Slam, having won Impact World Title, Impact Tag Team Champions, and now Impact Digital Media Championship. So, pretty awesome. Congrats to Jordan Grace on that. I'm interested to see how they defend this title, how much of the intergender matches are we going to get, and how the crowd responds and in the wrestling world it's going to be. You know, having intergender matches front and center on TV, Impact's going to become kind of the pioneer of that. You know, and I'm interested to see how that works out from there. So
A lot of YouTube matches happen. That'd be funny.
probably
Yeah.
Now.
Twitter.
They opened the show. First of all, it was great to have Mike, you, and Tommy at our house, along with my wife Tina, obviously, and the four of us watching this together. It seemed like forever that the
was awesome.
four of us were able to get together to watch the show, and pretty damn awesome, I gotta say. We picked a good one, and especially with the opening match. Mike, how happy were you to see the Inspiration make their entrance? I'll let you take it away and talk all about this because you've been wanting this for a long. I think we all have, but you most of all. So
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was good to see them. And the reports were coming in, and I think I haven't caught up on their last couple of podcasts, but I think they confirmed that they finally were just able to get their visa issues fixed recently. That's why they still hadn't debuted. Like their 90 days had passed a while ago.
right.
But it was just good to see them. And on a random, totally not related side note, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I always had a dream when I was younger of being a male dancer. Not like a strip club dancer, just like in music videos or something like that. And I don't know why that came to my attention again recently, but I just think that'd be really cool. But back to the Inspiration. Came out with their new song with the actual person that got to singing them out, which was, very WrestleMania big show of the year type thing. So that was pretty cool. And then I know some WWE fans might forget this because they didn't do it a lot toward the end, but they can actually wrestle. And they can do tag team moves together. And they're actually pretty good.
It's so sad because I know why you said that. It's just depressingly hilarious.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a sad. Not just that it's been a while since they've been released, but it's been even longer since they wrestled as a tag team.
yeah.
Right? And I feel like that moment that they were forced to split up on WWE television that's kind of where it was like the whole Iconics just ended. Like you knew the writing was on the wall.
And we talked about this last week, but just out of nowhere, if they lose, they have to break up. What?
Yeah.
Like, why?
And I don't see anyone else making that mistake. They showed in this why they're so great, why they're great on TV, why they're the Inspiration and Pose. I'm glad to see that back. And
I like when that happened, and you were just like, you can't copyright a pose.
can't copyright a pose. Exactly.
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 You can't.
And as much as WWE may try, you can't copyright a hand gesture either. I think, and the Young Bucks have pretty much confirmed they did that just to build some publicity, and it worked. It worked. So, now, how they go about this, I'm interested. I'm waiting for Thursday to see what their first promo is going to be. The first time being on Impact Television. Last Thursday, they didn't sign the contract. They sent their barrister, R.D. Evans to
Oh
do
my
this
God.
contract signing.
I
need R.D. Evans in more of their promos and backstage skits.
think
Yeah.
R.D. Evans just did more pro wrestling. Period.
Yes,
I just,
yes.
yeah, just, you forget until you see him again how much fun he is just in
Yes.
pro wrestling in general, and it's like I just want him back in pro wrestling doing stuff again. I don't care what it is. If he gets a microphone, I am 1,000% invested.
Yes.
Most of these matches all pretty much went the way we thought they would. Obviously, I think the only ones that we all got wrong were the Gauntlet. Tommy, you said Chris Sabin. I said W. Morrissey. Mike, you said Laredo Kid.
I said Laredo Kid.
And but you also kind of a side note said Okada, which who knows?
Oh yeah. I mean, looking at the way it played out, I feel like if I had taken that seriously, that probably would have been one of my couple of real choices. But yeah, I mean,
but I don't blame you. I mean, I gotta say, I shied away from picking Moose on that because it always felt like he'll get it, but he'll never get there. Like what? Why don't they pull the trigger? And it felt like it was going to be another. Oh, they're going to wait a few months and then do this. And we'll get to what happened at the end of the show. But he wins the Gauntlet match. The only title that successfully got defended was the Good Brothers, and they were in a triple threat.
That was the I did not think we were going to be saying when the show aired today.
Yeah, and it's funny because the triple threats of the weekend, you had the women's triple threat at Crown Jewel, and you had the tag team triple threat on Impact. Whoever came in as a champion walked out as champion still, which usually in those matches you think they're going to lose it, right? That's why they book them that way. But I got to say, and this is nothing against her, I was a little surprised Mickie James beat Deonna Purrazzo.
yeah.
I think everyone was really.
Yes.
I was kind of scouring the internet a bit, and it was a shocking amount of people who were just absolutely taken aback by that.
It's not against Mickie James. It's just that I more thought that how can I say this? That Deonna was just unstoppable, and I felt almost like Mickie was just another one to get her over the hump. It's just like, man, she's over. She's being a Hall of Famer, And I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to get to a point where some young up and coming talent, someone who's got as much experience as Deonna, was going to be the one to beat her and put that person over. Deep down, hoping it was someone like Thunder Rosa or someone else that comes along, So that being said, Mickey's not a bad champion to have in the Knockouts division. And,
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But my thought immediately goes to. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
My thought immediately goes to, since she's involved with the NWA, are we going to see a lot of NWA and Impact crossovers with some of that talent?
I think that's going to continue.
Yeah.
Like I know you said it was the ending of the AEW Impact for a while, but I think Impact still wants to work with a lot of those other companies.
Yeah.
So I assume they still will.
Do you think potentially the reason why they had Deonna lose to Mickie James is that very soon she could potentially lose her Reina de Reinas championship in AAA to one of their talents there? And that was a way
That's
to...
totally what I thought, because I knew she had that.
I was thinking she might, and that might be like, I always say that whenever a champion has multiple belts, they lose the first one. That's when the avalanche starts of title losses. But also, it could be maybe her contract's coming up. Maybe AEW has already made her an offer.
Yeah, and also it might not be anything against Deonna herself. Mickie has such a huge tie to Impact TNA, very similar to Christian and Kurt Angle, where as much as they had really good WWE careers, they were really, big time, a big part of their career, if not bigger, in that company. And I think, in a way, there was a lot of, as much as we got angry about the way Mickie was treated from WWE, I almost think this is really just one of their Impact Legends type thing, So, I mean, it is kind of strange, but I think she's held in such high regard for what she's been to that company for so long, in all its different names and stuff. So, I don't think it's necessarily Deanna's like contract or anything like that. I think it's really just it's their big show, and it's kind of their way of telling Mickey how much she means to their company and such.
Yeah. It could be a case of that, and because they had the whole chair spot and everything. If Deanna could make a play for a legitimate rematch, saying she was cheated out of the belt, even though she brought the chair in. But that's a heel for you. That's what.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to continue that feud.
I did know that the crowd was legitimately split down the middle.
Yeah.
That in the main event, it was an even split of the crowd. You could hear it, like verbally hear it in the audience. It was like audibly hear it. That's the part I was trying to go. And that's how they were split between Mickey and Deanna and Josh and Christian.
Definitely, yeah. But I have a feeling it's more also like a way to protect the championship, both championships. Her losing to Mickey, a legend in the business, future Hall of Famer, obviously, and she'll probably lose the AAA championship pretty soon to a young up and coming talent over there, and she'll come back and she could very easily reclaim that title. The last time she lost the championship, she won it back pretty soon after, and went on this long reign. Which I have to applaud her because she called her shot even before Moose did, because she got released from NXT unceremoniously, really didn't have a no-compete, and says, I'm going to go out there and prove why you screwed up, WWE, why you made a big mistake. Went open publicly about it on Bust Open Radio, signed with Impact, and has just been leading that Knockouts division from the very beginning since she got there. And there's still many more years to come. I think that's been just a little over a year since that happened too. It hasn't been that long, I don't know what kind of contract she signed, but still, great title run, but the beginning of many, I'm sure, that she's got coming her way.
Yeah.
Main event: Josh Alexander, Christian Cage. They did such a good job building how important this was. For Josh Alexander, for his family, and the build-up that they have been doing this long-term for the year was pretty awesome. And the match itself didn't disappoint. Guys, comments on the match. Did anything surprise you about it at all?
I think we said it that night. The him tapping out Christian was a little bit of a surprise. Which just hats off to Christian. Put on a great match with him. Made him, helped him look like $1 million, and kind of, did his job and got the belt back onto an Impact guy that they're building to be a huge star. So,
yeah, it feels like what they did, like what Christian did for him. It's kind of like what guys did for AJ Styles back when he was doing his really, hot title runs, like. For all of our complaints about Jeff Jarrett, whenever he gave the nod to AJ losing the belt to him, it felt like the same kind of thing. Josh Alexander, like we said, is one of their biggest stars right now going, and Christian, selfless guy that he is, goes out there not only loses but taps out to the guy. That's a huge thing to me. I feel like whenever a veteran taps out to a younger star, that's like the biggest nod they can give them. And Christian, I feel, has been unselfish ever since he came back. Between teaming with like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to take on the Elite, taking a one-winged angel from the top rope, which for the love of God still makes me cringe every time I think about that, because I was like, didn't you just come back from retirement for concussions? What the hell are you doing? But it's like, I was like, but to me that's just Christian, man. It's like he's giving back to the business that they gave so much to him, and it's really cool to see, because at this point, it's more like guys just want to say I had a match with a Christian than having to say that I got to beat him. I think just guys want to just be like, hey, I wrestled Christian once in my career. I'm done. I'm good. So I love the effort Christian put in. Is what I've said about him his entire career. He's just as good as Edge. He can put on just as good as fantastic matches as Edge can. And I'm glad he's still showing that he can still go like Edge is doing right now too.
And to put all that effort into it too, because again, he has a lot of ties to this company. He's a Hall of Famer there. He's not getting paid by them to be there. But still, it's pretty awesome. And it's pretty good for him to do that. Give Josh Alexander that rub, put him over the way he did. But that reign lasted all of 4 minutes. This is probably the shortest title reign I can think.
Look, I think I have to say this, and I can't believe I'm giving him credit for this, but I think champions need to start following Kenny Omega's lead. You win a title, or you win the match, you bust your butt out of that arena, especially if there's any kind of briefcase, combo shot, I've got a contract, anything that you know someone else has, win that match, take your wife and kid, and get in that car, and then, call it on the cell phone and be like, I'm so glad I won. Do your promo from your FaceTime or something, because...
That's a really good point, actually.
The lingering camera shot is the most dangerous thing in wrestling nowadays.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're staying on them.
Look, I'm tired of wrestling giving us Marvel in post-credit scenes. Damn it! It started with NXT. I will get NXT UK. NXT UK, I'll give them credit. They did it first. When Walter debuted after that Pete Dunne match, I remember I was having a heart attack when his music played because I was like, "No, the show's over." They showed the little graphic thing at the bottom. The show's over. And then then Saturday night we watched the show. I was like, "No, this is nothing." And I'm going to repeat what I said that night. You can't do that to a man in front of his wife and son.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you remember that NXT UK show. After he appeared, it went to black and it said, "Walter will return at a future."
For all one of the knocks on Impact and TNA over the years has been their bad camera cuts. Something happening in the ring, they're always looking at the wrong thing, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the best camera work they've ever done.
Yeah.
And it solved this whole
God.
moment. The wife and kid getting in there celebrating. It's a great family moment. And the camera's zoomed in on them. Then you hear the crowd reacting, and it's a real big, quick zoom out. And there's the trophy, and there's Moose, and he's telling the ref, ring the damn bell. And good job by Josh Alexander's wife selling this. Because obviously the kid doesn't know. In the kid's mind, this is probably really happening. And for her...
Well, I don't know. I'm surely maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but for her to get her son out of the way so her husband can take the spear, take the pin, and then she tells her son to go lay on and cover your dad, like protect your dad. There's that moment, that whole scene right there. She has a big part to play in that because she's got to make sure her son does what they intend for him to do and how she reacts to that. But my God, Moose, ultimate heel, probably the biggest heel in a long time.
As the worst heel ever right now.
Yes.
Right now.
And the internet blew up about this.
Because oh dude, it was everywhere. It was. I think this took the show from good to just like legendary immediately. And my favorite thing was him standing over, like with the family all around Justice, him standing over him with the belt. I was like, oh, so you're just the super villain in this. You're just Dr. Dooming this thing right now. Okay, cool. All right, okay. Okay, cool. Let's Luthor. You do your thing, killing Superman with the kryptonite while Lois and their child cry over him. Good job.
Look, WWE has had Money in the Bank for a while. They would never have the balls to pull a cash in like this. And we were joking that night watching that scene too, like, oh, is Moose going to cash in now? Just half-hearted. 30 seconds later, there he is. But
Mike said that. I think Mike said that.
Mike said it first, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry for jinxing you, Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, what? Because it was the lingering camera shot.
Yeah. San Antonio someday. I'm gonna tell him, hey, I got a friend named Mike who absolutely called that Moose is gonna cash in on you.
And I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? Yeah. I was like, where's Moose? Because I'm sorry, Josh.
Oh
my bad.
And
but also in all fairness, a couple things. JC was only giving credit to his wife because he's Asian.
No, that was not. I didn't even realize she was. Be honest with you.
Just kidding.
But
sure you didn't. And I mean, I don't know what you mean about the Money in the Bank thing because they've cashed it in the same night. They've cashed it in at WrestleMania. I mean,
But
I guess this would be akin to like Daniel Bryan winning at WrestleMania and getting cashed in on after he wins or after Kofi Mania. But I mean, they've had some cash-ins that are pretty out of nowhere.
But with their wife and kids in the ring.
Well,
I think that's
I
what he
mean,
was referring to. As
That's
the
that's
families
the
right
emotional
there.
part of it. They're tearing at the heartstrings there. Like, this is a big deal. He's celebrating with his family. The kids is young enough to think this is like a really happening. This is a big.
They let Gage Goldberg jump on Lesnar and get up.
I know, but that's where this takes the cake. This is arguably, when you consider all the other call your shot, Money in the Bank, any type of like instantaneous cash in moments, this is up there, hands down, top three at least, if not the best one. And in my mind, it's the most memorable one. It's definitely up there. You know, I gotta say, history will judge it years down the road, but this is one people are not going to forget. And finally, Moose wins the Impact World Championship. Wow.
My thing is, but my thing is I'm laughing at the hypocrisy online that I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Everyone
go for
wanted
it.
Moose to win the world title. Everyone said, "Oh, Moose deserves it. Oh, Moose deserves it." Everyone's like, "Oh, well, when's Moose gonna win? He should be the belt champion already." And like, also like, "Oh, well, you know, there's no new stuff in pro wrestling. Everything's the same." I was like, "Okay, you got your new stuff. This is world champion," and they used to give you the swerve of the century. My favorite complaint, which I could not believe was a thing, was people saying, "This is insane booking," and I said, my immediate reaction was, "No, this is the most genius thing I've seen in lately." Oh my God, that was so good. I was like, "What are you people talking about?" That was fan-freaking-tastic. That man came in there and stole that belt. That was just highway robbery in its purest form, and I loved it. It was so evil. I'm saying, Lex Luthor, Doctor Doom, Darth Vader, Moose, best villains of all time. Is what I'm saying right now. You did it for the man's wife and kid, man. That's just evil.
It's one of those things that fans online wanting it to happen. Beware what you wish for. But when you
thank you.
When you
That's
think
exactly
about it,
what I was saying.
when you think about it, during this whole crossover, who was the biggest villain Impact had? Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, yeah.
Kenny Omega, win the title, stealing it. When Christian won it back, you never really had that big villain. You know, you didn't have someone that was going to be the big bad. I mean, there was two faces facing off in the main event.
Yeah.
So where are you going to go from there? Now you have the top heel. You know,
I feel like the other guy could have been Sami Callihan if he wasn't injured right now, but him being injured.
But for him to quote tweet that Moose was champion and say bullshit, that's a face comment. Like Sammy, like they're selling it on the roster like, oh, that's crap. Like they're really selling. This is just Moose is gonna have the whole roster coming out. We're talking Josh Alexander, obviously, Rich Swann. They had a big feud. Sami Callihan goes back and might something. Obviously, Morrissey's probably the only friend Moose has at this point.
But he eliminated him during the gauntlet.
Yeah.
So
how is that going to go, right? Matt Cardona might get a shot in there. He was the last one eliminated in the Call Your Shot. So
GCW's own.
Yeah. Let's be honest, maybe Matt Cardona will turn heel too at some point. It's working great in GCW. You know,
I was like, wait, is he? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but not so much on Impact right there.
I never thought I'd say this, but after GCW, I was fully support a heel Matt Cardona because holy crap, that's a lot of fun.
It'd be beautiful to see. So, but dude, they brought it. This was their best show of the year, and it was all there, all for it.
It was amazing.
Yes. How well did we pick this? Tina went 1 and 2. She only picked a select few. The only one she got right was which one was it? Jordan Grace. That's the only one she got right. We all got that one right. So picking Jordan Grace to win, which is a perfect spot for that. And the rest of us, all three of us, actually went 5 and 2. So
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all missed the same 2 matches, right?
I think so.
The Gauntlet and the Women's.
Gauntlet and the Women's.
Gauntlet and the Women's.
I don't think anybody picked a Moose, so yeah.
No, Gauntlet and the Women's, and we were all yeah, we were all the same going the rest of the way.
So close with Chris Sabin. I was so close.
So how do we rate this one? 0 to 5. I'll go first. 4.75. My God, this was great. This was just amazing. I mean, hell, fucking, now that I think about it, there really wasn't anything bad with the show. This was a 5. This was really, really good. I had high expectations for it going in, and it surpassed those. You know, they really just blew it out of the water. They find ways to shock you with this stuff. And even though there was news reports that Jonah, what's Bronson Reed's indie name? Jonah Rock, that they had something in the works. He was set to make his debut, and then something fell through. Like, they told him they didn't need him. So I don't know if there's a future, like if he signed a contract, if he's going to Impact soon. I don't know if he's going to be part of the Call Your Shot, but there was some expected debuts. People were really thinking that the wrestler formerly known as Braun Strowman was going to show up as well, but that didn't happen. But still, again, using the talent you have, using the storylines you built up, Impact does it so well, and I think that's why they've survived this hard time for wrestling and done such a great job with it. And I cannot wait to see what Moose's promo is on Thursday, because he shoots on everything. So.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
This is part of my 1 minute warning, but okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. 5 for me. Great show. Really enjoyed it, and this really is one of the best shows of the year. So, Tommy, what about you?
4.75 for me. Just I don't know why it's just shy of perfect for me, because I really can't think of anything wrong with it. But it's just I don't want to give it the perfect rating just yet. But for me, it was like a 4 point. The whole night I was between like a 4.25, 4.5 until that ending, which just carried it over the edge for me, because I was like, my thing is, if you could make my jaw drop in pro wrestling, because we have like seen like almost everything, you did something. And it's not even like that this is something brand new, like a cash and all that, but the fact that how they did it, the way they did it, and the impact it had, pun intended, I will absolutely give this 4.75 and recommend it as one of their best shows ever, for sure.
All right. And Mike, what about you?
I'm going to shock you a little bit with this.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 2. Not any old 2, though. A Roman numeral 2, which looked exactly like the 2 eyes for inspiration. Got you. Just kidding. 4.75.
I had a feeling you were going that when you said the Roman numeral 2.
I hate this show.
Why?
So much. So much.
By the way, I'm waiting for my "You Got to Be Joking Me" shirt to come in, so hopefully I'm wearing that next week for the show.
I'm really interested to see her use that in a promo Thursday if that happens. But yeah.
Also, I try to learn the lingo, the lingo and the way the kids talk nowadays, and I don't know if I always use these words correctly. But one more time before we go, the new Inspirations entrance, Titantron or whatever, Impact Zonetron, Thirst Trap, and I'm here for it. So there we go.
All right.
Actually, yeah, you use that right.
Overall rating for Bound for Glory, 4.83. Show of the weekend, amazing show. Well worth the money well spent. If you haven't seen it yet, if you want to watch it, it won't be on Impact Plus for a while, but it's well worth the $40 price tag. You can go on to Fight TV, you can watch it, and once you buy it, you have it for life available to you. So go check it out. Definitely worth the watch. So, all right, some upcoming events for Impact. Just some announcements that they did make. Turning Point, which is their next Impact Plus event, it takes place November 20th. It says it's coming from Sam's Town Live in Vegas, which has me wondering, because they were staying there a few days to make TV tapings, potentially tape matches for this show, who knows. But that's going to be November 20th on Impact Plus. And the next pay-per-view is Hard to Kill, January 8th in Dallas. So in a matter of a little over a week, we're going to get WWE Day 1. We're going to get Wrestle Kingdom, which will be 2 nights, and we're going to get Impact Hard to Kill. So it's 2022. Everyone is trying to get back into the thick of things, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Now, a little bit of wrestling news to discuss. Real quickly, we're not going to break this all down, but the PWI Women's, their annual list of the top women in wrestling came out, and it's expanded even farther. It started as the female 50, then it was the women's 100. Now it is the women's 150. I think it's worth just calling out who the top 10 is and how great this is, too. Starting with number 10, Raquel Gonzalez. Number 9, Tom Nakano. Number 8, Io Shirai. Number 7, Sayuri. Number 6, Sasha Banks. Number 5, and I'm really happy for this one, Thunder Rosa. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Number 4, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Number 3, Deonna Purrazzo. Number 2, God help me, I pronounced this right. Utami Hayashishita. Yeah, what Tommy said. Nailed it. Number 1,
With a cross yourself.
Bianca Belair. Really great list.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue with that top 10. It's so good.
I all due respect to Utami, I honestly would have put Deonna Purrazzo at 2. I really would. And I'm not knocking Utami because, like, her, if you, her track record that she had in Stardom this year, she absolutely it did kill it and is still killing it. I just thought, to me, 2 and 3 were the hardest to pick, in my opinion. Bianca was for sure number 1.
Yeah.
Me, I'll knock her. Mainly because I don't know who she is, so I apologize. Sorry.
In a few weeks, we're going to talk about the whole list. Waiting for the physical copy to get here. But in the meantime, it is available as a digital issue. Visit pwi-online.com for details on how you can order a digital issue. It's available on any of your phones, tablets, computer, whatever. T and I are PWI subscribers, so hopefully once we get the physical issue, and in a few weeks, we'll be able to talk and make a full breakdown of it. Now, moving on from that is some big WWE news, a lot to discuss. Before we get into the big thing, I want to talk first about the pay-per-view schedule that came out. I just want to call it out real quickly because they released a list of 2022 pay-per-views. January 1st, Saturday, is the day one event in Atlanta that they had talked about. Royal Rumble is on a Saturday this coming year, January 29th, at the Dome in St. Louis. They confirmed that WrestleMania at AT&T Stadium in Dallas will be a 2-night event again, April 2nd, April 3rd. Let's see, they have a pay-per-view planned in Rhode Island on Sunday, May 8th. A pay-per-view planned in Chicago on Sunday, June 5th. Money in the Bank, July 2nd, a Saturday in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders. That brand new, beautiful stadium. T and I have been
going in there.
Yeah, huh? They're finally going in there. Yeah.
They're finally going in there. Okay.
I think SummerSlam was there, right? Yeah, SummerSlam was there this past year.
Yes. Yeah. My bad. My bad. They were in there. My bad.
But they're giving Money in the Bank the Big 5 treatment. They're giving it the WrestleMania treatment, if you will, like the big stadium of treatment. And
not the Saudi Arabia treatment.
Yeah. Funny part is that T and I have been talking about going to Vegas this summer because we're coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary, and that is looking like a good weekend to go. Yes. Yeah, I know. But
sorry, but my brain just said, "Oh, wait, stop."
We're eyeing that as a potential Las Vegas trip. So let's see if tickets come our way, right?
Nice.
SummerSlam, Saturday, July 30th at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, home of the Tennessee Titans. I'm pretty excited to see that. That's a great stadium too. Good, it's a good outdoor stadium. Dick.
Just kidding.
Survivor Series.
Those violence today, man.
Survivor Series is on a Saturday, November 26th in Boston. But before that, either on Saturday, September 3rd or Sunday, September 4th, a pay-per-view at a to-be-determined location. Some have speculated that it would be the UK. But even bigger than that is Labor Day weekend. And who is the first to get into the wrestling pay-per-view business on Labor Day weekend? I wonder.
It couldn't be those guys that they don't consider competition. No. Never the not competition guys. No.
Tommy, I don't know what you're talking about. Saturday pay-per-views, two night big shows, Labor Day weekend. WWE's just inventive and just really changing the game.
But you're right, because suddenly they have shows, they have big pay-per-view shows. What? That's unheard of in pro wrestling. And 2 nights of WrestleMania. It's like another company didn't do that 2 years ago across the Pacific Ocean. Because I would know, because I watched both nights. Anyway, moving on.
WWE now has no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's also why Kenta's name was Hideo Itami for 2 years, and a lot of good that freaking did.
Yeah.
Dumbasses.
You mentioned it, Saturday pay-per-views. We've been saying for a while that'd be great to do that, just so we can rest a bit before we have to go back to work on Monday.
I don't know why Sunday was so important anyway.
Yeah.
I never got that.
I don't know why WWE they thought people were going to go out and do stuff. Wrestling fans were all losers. We're going to be watching Saturday night. Okay, we're not going to clubs, so it's cool. Just put on the show.
Hey,
We're gonna barbecue and watch it at someone's house. That's what we're gonna do. So
I'm laughing because I agree. I was like, what do y'all think we're doing? We are not doing anything on Saturday. If we're not watching your show, we are either watching an old DVD or at our local wrestling venue watching a local show. What do you think we're doing on Saturday?
None of the people that are going to pay for that pay-per-view are going, oh, hit the club, wrestling show. I don't know. Like, none of them are. Just do it. We're going to watch it.
a Labor Day weekend could be a weekend full of wrestling, especially if WWE goes to overseas the UK for that pay-per-view, which people have been talking about wanting to see for a while, potentially as a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or something. But if that happens, obviously that'll be like a midday show, and then we get whatever AEW's put up that night. So there's a potential you could have WWE early in the day and AEW that night, depending what day WWE decides to choose. So, but that's what they've announced so far. So now the other big story coming out of WWE has been the Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and to a lesser extent, but still part of it, what does her name escape me? Sonya Deville, excuse me. God, oh, these names. Segment on SmackDown where this was the first day of the new rosters. We had SmackDown and Raw champions switching shows, so they were supposed to switch title belts. So if you didn't see the segment, don't look for it now because WWE's heavily edited it.
You can't.
Surprise.
You sure didn't see it on Saturday when it aired while Dynamite was airing on Saturday. Gee, I wonder who made that call. That seemed unnecessary.
I don't know what's wrong with just showing a show, doing something you've never done before, and re-showing the show on a Saturday night. I don't know why that's a problem.
But if you DVR'd it, great, you'll get to see the original version. But this was a segment
or just go on Daily Motion. Someone put it up, I guarantee you.
They've done this many times before with other championships. They just trade the titles. The tag titles did it. There's always one person who's usually like the heel, or it's like, hey, I got both belts or something. That always happens, right?
Actually, I think the tag belts are the only other time they've done it. I don't think they've actually done it that often.
Why do I feel like I've seen it?
I think that might have been. Well, they may have. No, they didn't, because whenever the U.S. or the IC champion,
they just switch shows because they don't.
The belts just
they don't care about those. They just switch them.
Yeah, but the tag titles were
my
happening.
thing is the tag titles, when they switched those, it was very amicable and like no one made.
Well, because it was Street Profits and New Day, so
same time. I don't know you. Same time, right? You know.
So. Yeah.
That was like the most chill group of guys who could possibly have had the belts at that point.
Yeah.
I like to think that those teams are just like we're so happy we don't have the dumbest gimmicks that WWE has ever given black guys. We're just happy that we're still here doing this job, and none of us have to be dumb gangsters here. Yeah, thank you.
You're probably right.
Now, as the segment goes, if you've seen this, you know Becky tries to get the title from Charlotte. She's supposed to grab it and do the whole Becky 2 belts. You know, they get a crowd pop, and everyone always loved that when that happened. And then she gives the other title back, and then that's it. But Charlotte was kind of keeping it away, and then the belt drops to the floor. Charlotte goes to pick it up, and Becky just throws her belt at Charlotte, you know? And news has come out that there's some real heat there. This stems apparently from a promo Becky did a few years ago when they were feuding, where she called Charlotte plastic. She put up posts on social media. Like one famous one was, "I missed a show because of this," and she put the whole broken nose blood thing, the famous picture that got Becky over. Charlotte missed multiple months, but we don't know why. And there's a close up of Charlotte's chest. That apparently hit at Charlotte's heartstrings a bit. But for all intents and purposes, we've always thought that these four women, Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, the best of friends, the four horsewomen of WWE. And there's some heat there for some reason, if it's sense of this promo, right? Or this whole feud, things that Becky said. And that kind of surprised me a bit. I've thought in wrestling, at least at this level, you understand how you're selling a fight. You understand the professionalism. And I would have thought that if she had an issue with that, she might have addressed that with Becky then. Who knows what happened? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the private conversation. But the locker room has really stood behind Becky on this. Charlotte, after that segment, left. She tried to kind of say, hey, let's just fight for both belts right now. You want Becky 2 belts, and WWE just like, no, let's just get to the next part and get Sasha Banks out there. Charlotte leaves. Apparently, she doesn't even talk to Vince. Leaves Gorilla. Becky apparently heard a verbal confrontation. Sonya, who did a great job saving that segment, and really, Mike, you pointed out, she did a great job there, making sure that everything kept going.
Well, I mean, yeah, because in real life, she's just another wrestler. I mean, I know her on-screen character is like a person in a position of power, but she's not really a WWE official. And I would assume in the order of the women in the locker room, she would not be one to normally be able to tell Charlotte what to do. But in the context of the angle of what was going on, when Charlotte threw it down, she yelled at Charlotte, pick it up, as the authority figure on the show. But I rewatched part of it, and I also noticed, I think Becky was expecting to get the belt again to do her 2 belts thing, and Sonya didn't give the belt over to Becky either. She was like, no, we're going to exchange these, and then we're going to, move on. So that's when Becky tried to take the belt from Sonya. Sonya said, no, give yours over. That's when she tossed it to Charlotte. Then she gave hers to Becky, and it was like, we're just going to stop this and go. So
kind of move on.
Yeah.
Right. And to be honest, I don't know if any woman wants to mess with Sonya because she is a MMA fighter. Yeah.
Legit. So yeah.
Legit.
Oh God, I don't know if this is a bad joke or not. I'm sorry if I offend anyone. I feel like there are definitely some women that want to mess with her. Come on.
That joke's legit.
I mean, in a good way though. I don't. Okay.
I mean, on a fisticuffs. Do you want to get in a physical altercation? I don't want to get into a fight with her. But yeah, I know.
But
if anybody, we're sorry.
Look,
there are some dumb guys who think they can take her in a fight, and I'm here to tell you, no, you can't.
Yeah.
No.
I know, Tommy. We've mentioned this before. She's just hot.
And I don't care.
Right, exactly.
I'm going with this, and I don't care. It's like
I agree.
And
I really don't. I hope that's not offensive. I don't mean it to be either thing I said. I mean, the joke I just thought was funny. It popped in my head.
I think here's the thing: is we're first of all, we're not saying we'd have a chance anyway. So let's just start with this.
Hello. That's why we have to go to the alternate universe.
Thank you. That's right. Thank God for the Infinity Gauntlet. That damn it, I don't have right now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you, Kang. But
to me, it's like hot is hot. It doesn't matter. Like what she's into. Good for her. I hope she is as happy as she can be. It doesn't change her attractiveness at all. So.
Yeah. Well put.
Yeah.
And also, back on topic. Well taken care of in the segment itself.
Yes. And she was actually ready to, from what reports have come out, she's gotten ready to just fight. She was pissed off,
Yeah.
And a lot of reports is that Charlotte just thought it was a dumb idea, that it was a dumb segment, and she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to be shown up, I guess, by Becky which is kind of what the thing is. But it would have just been a hilarious moment, a simple belt exchange, and then here comes Sasha to make a challenge. That's really all it was.
Can I be honest here?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Charlotte might start to believe her own press a bit, but I can't help but think that's kind of Vince's fault.
Okay.
I can't help but think that this constant pushing of Charlotte over and over and over again might have inflated her ego a bit. And I'm not saying to an extent she doesn't have the right to have that inflated ego, because I believe there are a lot of wrestlers who do. See, there are some wrestlers who I think who call themselves the best in the world have every right to. CM Punk, 100%. Like guys like
Bryan Danielson.
Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, all those, they have the right to do that because and Charlotte absolutely can call herself one of the best in the world. However, there's a limit to it. There's a limit because like being best in the world, but you also kind of got to do business, Mm-hmm. Like I say it all the time. One of my favorite moments in Ring of Honor history was when Bryan Danielson lost the belt to Homicide, because that was the right thing to do. It was New York City for one. Homicide put his career on the line, I think, for that match, and it was just the time. Homicide had did that whole spiel with CZW being the hardcore hero of Ring of Honor and everything like that, and it had that whole Ring of Homicide gimmick was going like super hot at the time, and he'd been champion for over a year, and it was just the right time to lose the belt. In a way, kind of the same with CM Punk, even though I think it should have went a little bit longer, my personal opinion, with he lost to The Rock, because he already has cemented his legacy, But now you got CM Punk wrestling these matches against these younger guys and really giving them the nod. If you watch his match with Daniel Garcia, it may not be the best CM Punk match, but you can tell he was absolutely giving his nod to Daniel Garcia because he was putting that on. Charlotte, I'm not saying doesn't give that same effort, because one of the other news that came out was she felt like she should have lost clean to Bianca Belair the week before, which I think is a huge part of this. I think that is probably the biggest thing about this whole story is she felt like she should have lost that match. I think, and my third point that I think is a lot of people, including the wrestlers, are getting really sick of the booking decisions WWE is making. Look at how many guys who said they love WWE, love being there, but they had to get out, left.
Yeah.
Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, love their time there, have nothing but good to say about Triple H, their experience with the company, and the people they worked with. But they had to leave. Was paraphrasing their words. Maybe that's just happening here.
And, to piggyback off that and connect it back to Charlotte, I don't know if y'all saw this, but apparently Braun Strowman's come out, well, Adam Shearer, but, formerly Braun Strowman, and he recently apparently talked about how he started believing his own hype himself, because in that WWE life, and I mean, I'm sure it changed a little bit during pandemic, but for the most part, you're just on the road, you're in it, and it's a high stress. You generally don't get a lot of sleep. You're running around 5-6 days out of the week, city to city, all this stuff. But he said himself, since he's been out, he's looked back at some of his time there toward the end, and he said, I started believing my own hype. I didn't realize how much I just kind of, I guess was kind of a jerk at times, or it took me a while since he's been released to kind of get his head back straight and realize that. And like you said, Tommy, I can completely believe that as kind of something that's going on with Charlotte Flair. Now, y'all know as much as anyone, the character Charlotte Flair on TV, I have been so done with for so long.
Mm-hmm. We all have.
Mostly because of the way she's booked, but also some of the way she's portrayed the character, where it felt very Triple H Reign of Terror-ish, where no matter what someone does, they never get over on you because you're so even when you lose, you're like, you got me, kid. You got lucky there. Never really giving the full credit to the other people. And she's taken some losses. She has, but never. I don't know. I never felt like she sold them as impactful. But I think there's a lot to be said. And I sent y'all that Reddit post I saw, where someone was like, "Hey guys, why aren't we asking about Charlotte's mental health?"
Yeah.
If you read it, there's a long list of things going way back in her life that definitely play into this. I mean, the passing of her brother, and wrestling was his dream, and she said on WWE documentaries that she basically got into this because her brother, passed away, and that was his dream. Being Ric Flair's daughter. I know we joke about it and what he is, but I mean, that's
got to weigh on you. Being the kid of Ric Flair, that's yeah.
WWE going, oh, we're not going to make you like Ric Flair, and then everything they give her is just Ric Flair.
The music, the robes,
the woo,
the move
figure
sets.
4 8 lock.
Yeah, the figure 8. I mean, and you mentioned the real Flair thing, especially after Dark Side of the Ring's episode about the plane ride from hell. She's seen her own father. When he's at a point where Ric Flair and Ric Fleur, I think it's pronounced his real last name.
Ric Fleur,
is
Fleur,
one and the same because that he lives that gimmick outside of it, and now she's seen her own father get dragged through the mud. And how do you know fans can be assholes at times? Let's face it. How do you know they're not taunting her about that?
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt that they're on social media, Twitter, whatever they can get a hold of her on.
Yeah, hey, your dad's a perv. Hey, your dad should be locked up. Hey, your dad should, whatever.
If people blame David Benoit for what Chris did, they can absolutely be ragging on Charlotte for some
of course,
BS nonsense. And I think one of the worst parts about it, is that. Like I said, because how Andrade said FUWWE or what he was gonna really say on Twitter.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, some of her complaints could be valid. Maybe she is isolating herself. Maybe she isn't the person that people, used to know so well. But to me, all that is a sign of trauma. I'll be honest. I feel like I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. These past couple of years have been BS. And have been traumatic as all hell, and and I feel like there for everyone this past couple of years, no one was exempt from that. I think everyone changed a little bit in some way because it was just that kind of year.
Yeah.
Props to pro wrestlers. I mean, thank God for pro wrestling. I think that was a little bit of sanity that got all of us through 2020. Because had it not been for AEW and WWE, let's be honest here, I think we would have lost our minds.
Yep.
So props to that, but also there are some mental health things that probably people looked at there, because WWE wrestlers didn't really have time off. They didn't travel as much, thank God. But, they still had to be there every week, ready to go to work, ready to put on stories. And honestly, for Charlotte, with her brother, with stuff about Rick coming out from the plane ride from hell, which again everyone knew.
More recently, she fell in love. Good for her. He up and leaves the company, and now he's so she doesn't get to see him probably as often. And he's over there. I'm sure. I don't mean this as a bad thing of him, but I'm sure he's talking about how much fun he's having.
Like how it's it's just so fun there. I get to do it. Matches. Me and Pac killed it for the second time. So
how creatively he has more freedom. He has more say in certain things, and his tweet. His FUWWE tweet that came out shortly after this, happened too. So
on top of this past 2 years, you saw a whole bunch of your former colleagues and friends get released. Becky's, I'm sorry,
for no reason,
Yeah, and Bayley's not in that locker room right now because she's injured, and Ruby Soho, who when she got released, everybody and their mother tweeted was like everyone's best friend and just brought. So you also got a locker room that has lost a lot of people who appeared, or at least don't have, that were glue people that, probably brought a bunch of different people together because they were just so that kind of person. It's a lot going on.
And some people just deal with it differently than others. Some probably can deal with it at home. But I think it's different for Charlotte, honestly, because wrestling has literally been a part of her life since she was born. I don't mean just watching it. I don't mean just having a family that enjoys, like with Becky, or like other people say, oh, we just enjoy wrestling as a family. No, she has been involved in this business from the moment she was born, knowing every backstage story, knowing how it works, the direction it could go, should go, would go, can go, blah, blah, blah. She has had this part of her life from birth on. She is literally born into the business, almost had no choice but to be born into the business. So it could possibly be even just be burnout. Maybe she just needs some time off. Maybe that's another reason she wanted to lose the belt to Bianca in the first place. She's like, dude, I just want to go home for a few days, Yeah. And she is engaged to Andrade, so hell, she has a wedding looming over her head. Wouldn't this be the second time she's getting married? So maybe even that's bugging.
Second or third, I think, and it was a pretty.
I think she's Yeah,
but I know her previous marriage is pretty bad. She's been open about it. She was abused a lot, and that's another trauma on the mental health thing. So for her to finally be able to trust someone to fall in love again, that's difficult. Especially with what she might have gone through. Now, all this now, and I'll be honest with you, Mike. Before you sent that post that Reddit user wrote, I didn't think at all about what her mental health could be right now. And a bit of me is ashamed of that. I was ready to come on here and just talk about what is going on. Why is she being so unprofessional? She's in this position. She's behind everything. I still like the fact that she took the time off, or she was being punished for something, had to skip WrestleMania, and then she's immediately in the title picture when she's thrown back on TV. But I was really upset. But you sending that message, me reading through that, it got me thinking, okay, we just watched Bound for Glory. And over the last week, Impact has been, and some other wrestling companies not named WWE, have been playing public service messages for wrestlers dealing with mental health. Tag me in. And it's featuring wrestlers that have never even set foot on Impact or TNA or any of these other companies. Trish Stratus, Lita, Mick Foley was there too, but
who was the announcer? The female announcer too was on it. Lillian Garcia was on there. Jericho, all kinds of
representatives from all these other pieces of wrestling, and it's a way to unite wrestling. It's a PSA you're probably going to see when you watch Impact, Ring of Honor, AEW. But the idea is tag me in, call me if you need to talk to someone. And after I read that mental health thing you sent, my first thought was Hana Kimura. We don't need another situation like that. And I'm thankful that Charlotte, well, not even Charlotte, Ashley, her real name Ashley, has Andrade in her life to talk her down, to be there, to be that support, to have someone there for you that it's important, to be there, to take care of you. I'm married. I never understood when people said, I want to make sure you're taken care of, until I was in the hospital trying to figure out what the fuck was wrong with me when I got diagnosed with Crohn's. Yeah. And my wife was there. Then I understood what it means to have someone taking care of you. So from the mental health side, and I'm glad she has Andrade there, but reach out to your friends. Even if you're not on speaking terms with Becky, reach out to Ashley. Rebecca Quinn, reach out to Ashley, your friend, and find out what is going on. And let's talk through this. Like, there's something deeper going on there that you guys need to work out. Especially because it seems right now, you guys are going to be working together in about a month when Survivor Series takes place, because they're doing the whole brand versus brand thing.
Yeah.
And last time we did someone get seriously injured,
They already put the graphic of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart from Survivor Series 97.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, because to me, another thing that that kind of brings to mind is Kylie Ray just left wrestling again.
Yes.
And people are complaining about it. And I'm just like, no. If she needs to walk away again, walk away again. Because like you said, JC, I do not want another Hana Kimura incident. Okay. If wrestling is too much for someone right now, as great as wrestling, look, I love Bryan Danielson. If he came out tomorrow and said, hey guys, mentally I'm not all here, I think I need to take some time off. For the love of God, take the time off. Yeah. I no longer care about my personal feelings about how good of a wrestler you are. between again referring to last year after Nakamura passing away, and of course with the passing of Shad Gaspard, you know that even though that wasn't depression related, it just was a sad incident. And just after that, I don't care why wrestlers need to take some time off. For the love of God, take the time off. I no longer care. Because they know their mind better than any of us ever will. And if they think to themselves, I need to back off, then they need to back off. If that's what Charlotte's going through, back off. Just we know she's a great wrestler. She will be a great wrestler whenever and if she ever decides to come back. If she's not feeling well mentally, I put this. What did I put? I put this on all my social media because there was someone sharing about like being a Christian doesn't mean you don't get mental help. And I was like, that's what I said. I was like, because my thing is, what I put in the message was you can't pray away a bullet wound. You can't pray away a gunshot wound. If you get shot, you can't say, "Oh, Heavenly Father." No, Jesus is telling you, call 911. That's why you have it's like, Jesus, help me. I gave you a cell phone. Call 911. That's what that's for. It's like I can't come down there and heal the bullet wound. That's what call someone, please. If I'm bleeding to death, I'm not gonna go to my church and pray it away. I'm gonna be like, go to the hospital. Hey, I'm praying all the way there, but hey, y'all fix this. Somebody fix this right now.
Yeah.
I'm praying the right doctor comes fixes this. The right doctor, Jesus. Give me the right doctor, Lord, to fix this. That's the same thing with this. If she is if this is something I think is going on with her mentally, I hope she gets the help she needs.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something here. I really hope if WWE is very serious about the well-being of their wrestlers as they claim to be and the health of them, listen, get her the help she may potentially need mentally, and run those ads for Tag Me In. Don't give it the WWE treatment where you have your own wrestlers saying it. It's fine the way it is. Let them run the ads. Let them run the PSAs. Because whether you call it sports entertainment or not, the people that work for you are wrestlers. And they need to be taken care of on some level. So,
Yeah.
There's so much more we could talk about. We could talk about this forever, but we got to move on. Mike, you mentioned that you had something to say with the 1 minute warning, so I'm going to let you jump right into it and go. So let me know when you're ready.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, good. And it's funny because I know you said you were looking forward to Thursday because you heard that Moose shot a promo and shot on a bunch of random people, which I got to be honest, I don't know how you're bringing up Sasha and Roman and all this other stuff, but I got to be honest, I feel like it's this thing where now it's like everyone's trying to do it, and the shoot promo, there's a difference between like having a little fun on Twitter, going back and forth type stuff, and and trying to be real edgy in your promo and say real stuff, and like as much as we talked about, MJF has been really good at what he does. All he's doing now is just saying really mean things to people that maybe connected to real stuff in real life, and I mean that's cool, but it's such low hanging fruit, and everyone just shooting now, and we're gonna call out each other, and it's one thing if it's fun and they're just kind of talking a little trash on Twitter, on social media, but I really hope this just doesn't become promos on all the different shows, all the big guys. I mean, I don't know. I like the competition, and it's fun when it's, they probably know each other, they're just talking a little bit of crap, but if everyone's going to start coming out now and talking smack, and I don't know, I just hope it doesn't go too overboard of everything's a pipe bomb promo now, and
I can see that. You can't have too much of a good thing that it's not good anymore. Yeah, I can get that.
Yeah.
So, Tommy, do you have anything you want to talk about this week?
It'll be quick.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
So, yep, it is. The IWGP heavyweight situation. I am quite invested.
Go Jeff
because
Cobb.
we now have... I knew one of you was going to say it. Anyway, because now we have two guys claiming to be the true world champion. We have Okada and we have Will Ospreay. And poor Shingo Takagi is like, well, what the hell did I win? So I'm hoping Wrestle Kingdom this year is them like having like an all-out like settle this once and for all type deal. Even like a round robin challenge, I'd be down for that. So I'm done. Let's just move. I'm done. I'm through.
You know what? You can blame Tina and I for that, Tommy. We got him a cameo for his birthday. He's got a fan for life. That's just the way it is. So, you know.
And I'm sorry, he did a cameo for me in July and went 8-0 at the beginning of the G1 climax. So I'm just saying.
And did not win.
Also Tommy. I just want to throw that up.
All I'm gonna say is, God forbid Darby Allin ever go to New Japan, because then this one over here, I'll never hear the end of it from. So.
Oh yeah, he should win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship first day.
He should defeat Okada in 2 seconds. Not even a 3 count.
Okay, I won't go that far, but here's who he should beat if he ever did go over there.
Seriously,
Toriano?
why do I do this?
No, watch it. Watch it.
I got your back, Tommy. Darby
okay, I'll go bold here. If Darby Allin ever did go to New Japan, he should take out Jay White for that never open weight championship. And I know Tommy loves that title.
That would be okay with
Now, that being said, I would love to see Kenta get Hiroshi Tanahashi's U.S. title, because I think they're already starting to promote that as well. So, real quickly, I don't have a 1-minute warning, but I just want to call out quickly the title changes, because there was a lot of them, and let's see if I can get through all of them. Moose, now the Impact World Championship. Mickey James, Knockouts Championship. Trey Miguel, the X Division Champion. Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jesse McKay are the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Jordan Grace is the first Impact Digital Media Champion. Down in New Japan, Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask are now the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions.
Tiger!
And what's just happening today on NXT 2.0's Halloween Havoc.
Real quick.
Mandy Rose, NXT Women's Champion. Toxic Attraction is now the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And Imperium beat MSK for the NXT Tag Team Championships. My God. Crazy, right? Guys, lots to talk about on this show. I'm glad we made it through it. Thank you for sticking around. And if you're watching us later on, Steady, I see you there joining late. What's up? Appreciate you popping in here. If you're catching us later on, we're not seeing it live, let us know what you thought on the shows. Let us know what you thought of Crown Jewel, Bound for Glory, and this whole situation with Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and how mental health needs to be taken more seriously in wrestling. Next week, we're going to preview AEW Full Gear. And who knows if there's going to be more title changes on that show. There's a lot to...
There better be at least one.
There better be at least one. That's been built up for so long. Yes, for sure. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We do so much appreciate you being here every week with us. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real. People
are
fake.
Boom.
Catch you next week.